My name's Dunnit, Saddle Builds and stuff. Today's video is explosive to say the least. Ignitions, explosions, loads of ability, energy and plenty of damage on the fly. Look at the state of these explosions. Absolutely crazy. We're going to be pairing up the brand new Dungeon Exotic, the Heirloom, with the Young Armancara's Spine for Scorch Central and Ignitions and just loads of random explosions. This build is extremely fun. We're going to be taking a look at Gunpowder Gamble as well. Now, this actually got changed and it actually got buffed, but it works weird. You're going to be able to cause infinite ignitions with Gunpowder Gamble. It actually triggers a second ignition, which I'm going to show you. So, Young Armancara's Spine and Gunpowder Gamble is huge on this build. Now, before we get into the actual video, as I promised, I've got another one of these Osmium Heirloom emblems to give away. This will be in the video. I'm going to drop a code somewhere in the video. First come, first served. And then what I'll probably do in the comments as well, a bit later on in the video, before midnight tonight UK, I will drop another comment in there with another code. So just to clarify, there's a code in the video and probably a code in the comments at some point today. So we'll start off with the exotic weapon, Heirloom or Heirloom. This is a bolt thrower. This weapon fires high powered explosive bolts. It's strong against unstoppable champions. It's got Big Game Hunter on there. Aim down sights for a period of time to overcharge the next bolt fired. Each bolt fired increases the damage and area of effect depending on how much you charge it up. And it's also got a catalyst on there which scorches enemies on charged shots, and it does an extra 10% damage. A quick brief sort of introduction of how this works. Hold it down, you're going to do 165, so that's like your lowest shot with no charges, and then you're going to charge it up with that little blue bar there. The higher you charge it, the harder it hits. It goes out, it maxes out at 115% damage, so it's going to start off with a low shot. The more you charge it, it goes up in damage, but it maxes out at 115, and with the catalyst it also scorches as well with any charged shot. So as long as you hold it down for like a second, get one of them bars, it's going to scorch. And then you get an extra 10% damage against scorched targets, which you can use via the weapon or your abilities. So with it being explosive and causing scorch and it's solar, it fits really nice with Gunpowder Gamble. Defeat targets to charge up an improvised solar explosive and then you throw it. And this can cause an ignition. However, it works really nice with the Heirloom because you could do the explosive shots like that, which is going to charge up your Gunpowder Gamble extremely fast. But it did actually change Gunpowder Gamble. It says shooting a dynamite to detonate it now increases damage by 50% or 5 in PvP. And it expands the radius and it creates submunitions now. So, obviously I wanted to test that. So if you just look at this clip without me doing anything to it, I am getting 608 damage from the ignition. So you wouldn't think in this next clip when I shoot it, it's meant to increase it by 50%. It goes to 678. That's only like a 12 or 13% damage increase. So a lot of people think this is bugged. It could be bugged, but what actually happens is if you shoot it when the Gunpowder Gamble is attached to a target, it actually does a massive, bigger ignition, and it actually guarantees chained ignitions. So if you see them submunitions now just scattering all over, they will cause ignitions. So I think what's happening is it did actually get the buff, but the 50% is applying to the ignition. So you literally are getting a guaranteed ignition now, and it's chained if you've got enemies nearby. So if you watch this clip here, shoot it instead of letting it explode. As long as it's attached to that target, when you shoot it, it will 100% guarantee an ignition. Look at that. Very, very nice. It does require a few fragments. Ember of Char to make your ignitions spread scorch to the affected targets. That works with the submunitions for the Gunpowder Gamble. Ember of Eruption to make your ignitions have an increased area of effect. And then Ember of Ashes to improve your scorch stacks, which maximizes your ignitions. But it's a chained ignition. So it's a guaranteed chained ignition if there's a couple of enemies nearby. Now, Heirloom Catalyst, this works perfectly because you're going to scorch from all your abilities anyway. Get an extra 10% damage, and this weapon actually scorches. Pair it up with the Young Armancara's Spine with Tripmines. increases Tripmine duration, blast radius, ability damage against Tripmine energy, and this just feeds your abilities. Left, right, and centre, you're going to get loads of abilities back, loads of Tripmine energy, your Gunpowder Gamble, your Knife Trick is all going to keep feeding your Gunpowder Gamble. You've got your Heirloom Catalyst to finish off them scorched enemies, or use to scorch first and then apply your Tripmines or your Knife or your Gunpowder Gamble. It's just a really, really nice little cycle just to take advantage of. Scorching, explosive bolts is a crossbow, don't forget. Or your Gunpowder Gamble, your Knife Trick is going to feed your Tripmine energy, vice versa. So it's all a really, really nice little cycle. And as well as Gunpowder Gamble, we're going to run On Your Mark. Once you get up to times 10 on your mark, final blows at 10 stacks are going to cure you. Any final blow when you're at times 10 will cure you. It doesn't have to be a solo weapon or a precision hit or anything. As long as you get up to times 10, you just keep a little eye on the health bar here. Weapon kills are going to cure you. A bit of nice survivability. So you can use your crossbow, rocket launcher, something like that. Quick kills just to keep yourself getting cured. I recommend running like a machine gun or an SMG just to get your times 10 up quick. And then once you've got that, all your grenades, everything will just keep curing you. So it's not a bad little buff that I did a couple of months back to this. I've covered it quite a lot on the channel. Bit of extra free survivability. And On Your Mark times 10 will also give you plus 50 weapon stat as well, which is also incredibly nice. Now, this is why I like to pair it up with the crossbow, the scorching. Look at that. Gone. Get out of there. They're dead. You've got a Gunpowder Gamble charged up almost. And then again, scorching, ignitions, scorch first. Either way, whether it's from your Knife, Gunpowder Gamble, Tripmine, or your bow, you can sort of like mix and match whichever way you want. And 99 times out of 100, you're going to cause some sort of explosion or ignition. And you've got your Gunpowder Gamble to cause definite ignitions. I'm going to show you it working on this boss as well, just for a bit of free extra damage. Going to get my Gunpowder Gamble charged quite easily, clearing that ad spawn out. And if you just take a look, you're going to get a double ignition. So 1, 2, just like that. So it's also quite nice for damage. This didn't happen before. You don't get them submunitions just like so. So it's pretty nice. Now, this is what I really love about Young Amakara's spam builds. Just lobbing your Tripmine somewhere, you know that that's going to go off at some point, whether they had spawn there straight away or in a couple of seconds. Look at that, 2 Tripmines out, it's going to kill that spawn there, and I know that one's going to go off. I've got my Gunpowder Gamble charged, I've got my crossbow primed, ready to go, and you got your Gunpowder Gamble, just 3 or 4 different ways of scorching, and you've also got your buffed super now as well. These apply scorch. Don't forget all your golden gun supers, not your blade barrage, but you can actually apply scorch as well. It's not the best DPS, but it's good for clearing ads and causing more ignitions. Your golden gun, like I said there, you're going to be able to scorch targets as well. So that's just another way to cause ignitions. Really good for ad clearance. And again, back to a bit of Tripmine slinging. Really, really enjoy this type of play. Really fun. This is probably the most fun I've had in Renegades with this build that I've been using in the last couple of days. Of course, there is other weapons, Burning Ambition weapons, Dragon's Breath, things like that. But while this new exotic is out and it's sort of getting a bit of bad rap, I thought I'd show it in there. But you can, of course, use Burning Ambition weapons, incandescent weapons, things like that. But I quite like the Heirloom just for things like this. You can use any weapon, like I said, as long as it's Burning Ambition, incandescent, somewhat like that. Does the crossbow need a buff? A little bit, probably. Yep. I don't think it's absolutely terrible, as bad as what people are making out. If you build into it correctly. Does it need a slight buff for like end-game content? Yep, but I think it's just purely because it's a blaster weapon, and I don't think a lot of them feel that particularly great at end-game, just with it overcharging and overheating. Ember of Torches is another one you want to be running, because this works perfectly with crossbow as well. You're going to get 20% radiant and apply that scorch for your 10% extra damage on your crossbow. So that's direct 30% damage increase on your crossbow with a catalyst. You've got Ember of Singeing to make your class ability recharge faster whenever you scorch targets, which you're going to be doing all the time. So you've got an infinite buff to your class ability regen, which I'm using Gamble as dodge to get melee energy, which is directly feeding my knife trick, which will feed my young armoured Kara's spine. Tripmines, Ember of Char, which we've touched on, Ember of Eruption, and Ember of Ashes. They're your three you need for your ignitions. I'm going to leave my gear stats like so. 150 grenade stat. I'm actually running 2 grenade fonts as well, which I'll show you there. A couple of solar surges. I like to run the stacks on that build, just so I've always got a plus 40 grenade stat. So I'm running like a 190 grenade stat, and I've always got a times 2 weapon surge or radiant going pretty much 90% of the time. So that's the video. I'll leave a dim link in the video description. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.